Hey everyone, welcome back to Adventures with Edna. I'm Chris. Chance's taking a personal day. Today, we're going to do a upgrade on Edna, which is going from a single wiper to having two wipers. If you're familiar with these trucks, the standard cabs typically came with one wiper for the driver's side and then just had a plug where the passenger side wiper should go. And then the more deluxe models came with two wipers. So I really didn't know much about making this conversion, and I really wasn't sure where to source parts, but I recently made a post on one of the F1 Facebook pages about looking for the linkage to do the two wiper conversion, and one of our viewers, Wayne, came through and hooked us up with the linkage. So we got that among other parts, but this was the main piece that we got from him, was the linkage itself. So basically, if you have that hooked up like that, and this all bolted in, then as the wiper motor turns, it moves this back and forth. So we, of course, wanted to make the project extra complicated and figured on getting some extra parts. And so we got on LMC, and we got two new wiper blades here, just to ensure they match and have a fresh blade on each side. And we got two new wiper arms. The one that's on Edna now has a little bend in it. Plus, I wanted to make sure that they were both going to be matching. Because you can see, like, this one's a little bit different style and has a little bit different hookup than these. So we want to be sure that those were right. And we got a nice new bezel and a new nut for the outside, since we already did that recently on the other side. So those will match and look nice and pretty. And we were actually going to film this video yesterday, and everything came down to this stupid clip.
This stupid clip!
This basically connects this end of the wiper linkage to the original wiper linkage, and we couldn't find it anywhere.
Spent 3 hours trying to find this!
So we spent 3 hours looking for it.
Spent 3 hours!
And by the time we found it, it was really too late to start videoing because Chance had school today. So here we are. Something we did get was a nice new piece of rubber to go here. I assume this one's probably fairly old. So we're going to change that out. Actually, it really doesn't seem that bad. Put in the new one. Now this is actually pretty straightforward, the way that this plug comes out here. Underneath the dash here, beside the glove box. See if I can find this thing. Is that 5/16 bolt. And that just comes right out, and then the whole hole is open and exposed. So let's see if we can get in there and take that out while filming. Got it. So now that's off. And that is it right there. Now, what we got to do here is we take off this little nut. And the bezel, since all that stuff's new. I'm going to point this towards the top, because as you can see, it's got a little notch for it. And we're going to put this in through that same hole from inside the cab. So we're going to try to feed this up here. Now the real question is, can we get it to stay in the hole? Where'd it go? I lost it. It's in place up there. Now, can we get to the other side without dropping anything? All right, we're in. So what we got to do is grab that, let it fall down, make sure our notch is in the hole, slide our rubber gasket onto here. These were new because we just replaced them, I don't know, a month or two ago. Probably would have been a good idea. We're going to temporarily put this bezel, old bezel, on here because we didn't think to open the components packages before we got this far. Stay. Let's get the old bezel back off. Get the new no, never mind, that's the new nut. Get the new bezel on. Get our nut started. Now, I'm not going to tighten that up yet because we want to make sure we got everything connected like it's supposed to be before we get that far. You know, it is sometimes you put new parts in, you tighten everything down, and then something doesn't line up. Not that I would know that from experience. All right, so like I said earlier, I'm going to really overly complicate this project. Now, you guys have seen me take the dash out plenty of times in the past, so I didn't think we needed to revisit that. So I went ahead and disconnected the battery and pulled that out myself. Now, a few things have happened. So there's the end of the wiper linkage as you saw before. So it's sitting up here where it needs to now. And I did kind of have an issue with, I'm glad that I didn't tighten that other side up because there's a little bit of finagling involved to get it behind this and then around your mechanism for your cowl vent. But it's in place now and it connects to this piece here. So this is the part that goes through the windshield and this is the original wiper. That little clip that we couldn't find yesterday.
The stupid clip!
That goes on here, and then this goes on the actual wiper arm, and then this connects to the motor, and then just turns back and forth and moves everything. So there's a couple things we got to do, which means finishing this project tomorrow. So this, if you remember from the other video where we were having wiper problems, where we had to fix this, this is kind of knurled on the inside there. But as you can see, the knurling has almost completely worn off. And so we don't want that to, you know, get loose because then our wiper motor will be worthless. So, and then we had the other problem with those little pieces that connect here and here falling off, making it harder to put that in. So we're going to mix up some JB Weld and glue some stuff together. And that should, we're going to let that stuff dry overnight. And then we will test in the morning. Well, tomorrow sometime at least. Now, we already got this stuff cleaned up off camera, so you wouldn't have to see a whole bunch of spraying carb cleaner and wiping stuff off. We're putting a little bit in here because this is all worn out and the wiper comes off. We got to put this little clip on to hold the arm in place.
The stupid clip!
This is probably easier said than done. Now we got our little clip on, just like it's supposed to be. So that's how it's going to work. Now if we come back out here to this side, as we turn this, see the other one is moving as well. All right, so now that we got everything pretty well hooked up like we want it, and things glued that we were going to glue, we will now be continuing this tomorrow when the glue dries.
Later.
All right, we're back, and basically our main focus now is basically just kind of bolting everything back in place since the JB weld should have hardened up by now. It's been, when did I glue that stuff up yesterday? I think it was right before 7 p.m. So it's had a few hours. I think it says 15 to 24 hours. It's been like 18 now, I think. So we got to take our motor, send it back up and through. We got our mounting bolts. All right, we're going to reconnect the battery real quick and make sure everything's functioning properly before we put everything back in. Unfortunately, the motor doesn't really have like a neutral position where you can test it out, but that's all you can really do is just turn it on and hope it works right. All right, let's try this again. Basically, our bezel that holds the switch in had come loose, so I had to tighten that back up. So, key on. Both working? Hopefully you guys can see that okay. You can probably see the mechanism moving back and forth there. I'll turn this light on. Sweet. Put it into full blast mode. Now, if anybody's wondering about the wiper motor that I have, this is the single wiper motor setup, not the dual wiper setup. And I believe I got it from Speedway. And so the Speedway kit for the one wiper motor is the one for this setup, which is cool because I didn't have to change anything. I thought I was going to have to like get a whole linkage setup and a new motor setup and basically waste this one, if you could say that. But anyway, yeah, so that's the one that's in here, Speedway motors. Almost forgot I needed to put the deflector back in for the defroster, which, basically doesn't exist. But coming in a future project, I did order the ducting hose for this. We have this hot rod heater here. So I was trying to think about putting some kind of attachment that's roughly this size on the top of that, so that when these are all closed, you can run the defroster. Because if you've driven one of these trucks, you know how much it sucks to drive in the rain and not be able to see. I'll slide this back up in there. It's kind of in the way when you're messing with your wiper motor setup. So it has to be finagled. I can't see what I'm doing. I don't think we're close. Not even a little bit. All right, next, let's get our gauges back in. Speedometer cable is somewhere. All right, let's get some lunch and put some wiper blades on. Test this thing out.
Later.
Well, all that's left now is the easy part of putting on the new wiper arms and wiper blades. All right, let's test this out. I never actually noticed this until getting these installed, but the wipers are not centered on the windshield, and the passenger side wiper is actually 3/4 of an inch higher up on the cowl than the driver's side. It's weird. Well, I think we'll call that a successful project. We now have 2 wipers instead of just 1. Chance will probably be happy. Hopefully he got over that issue with not being able to find that clip the other day. But anyway, I hope you guys learned something. I know that some of the filming wasn't that great because I wasn't able to get under the dash very well to film and work at the same time. Anyway, that's all we've got for today. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.